I'll go ahead and call the Livingston Municipal Planning Commission meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight that's here. We're going to move right on in with our agenda, and I need the approval of the April 22nd, 2024 minutes, please, as printed.
I'll make a motion.
A motion, Bruce, second, JJ. All for, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration of request to rezone property located at 592 Dog Lake Drive from C1 General Commercial to R2 High Density. Savage request.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So we have a request from Michael Savage, as you said, to rezone property located at 592 Dog Lake Drive from C1 General Commercial to R2 High Density Residential.
No, if you look at the map, it's over between 1st and 2nd Street.
That's my home address. Yeah, that's his home address. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I apologize. Let's relook at that. West 1st Street, 912? Or 912 West 1st Street. Thank you.
Looks like it extends from 1st to 2nd Street.
Yes, it does, and I did include a map in your agenda packet where it's showing that the property is bordered on the west and the south by commercial, but it is also bordered on the east by R2, so that would not be considered spot zoning. You could rezone that if you wanted to. So Mr. Savage is here, and Mr. Savage, if you would you just come up and tell us a little bit about why you want to rezone the property, please?
Rezoning for the purpose of putting a home or two on the lot. The only person interested commercially was more mini warehouses, and that would go from street to street, so we decided not to sell. You drive by it every day.
So legally, you are within your rights to recommend to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen that this property be rezoned. And like I said, it would not be considered spot zoning. What you got to take into consideration is, do you want that property to remain commercial, or are you okay with it being residential too?
Since it's been residential before and it's got residential on one side of it, I don't see any reason not to. I so move.
I'll second it.
We got a motion with JJ that the zone R2, second by Bruce. Any other discussion? If not, then that voted on, please. All for, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Savage, so the process as it will go is it will now go to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for a first reading. And Phyllis, when is that next meeting, please? Will it be July the 1st? July the 8th? July the 8th will be the first reading. If it passes first reading, it will then go to the August Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting for a second reading and public hearing. I would recommend that you be at both those meetings in case there are any questions from the board.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll go on to these ordinances now, if you don't mind.
At this time, I'm going to ask the mayor to come to the pulpit, please.
Yeah.
We'll open it up for him.
The mayor for about that much longer, I think. But thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we've just had a lot of requests about food trucks coming to Livingston. And I just think it's time to take a look at that. In the event that the Planning Commission passes this, of course, as everything does, it'll go in front of the Board of Aldermen. There will be a public hearing. Anyone that is for it certainly can attend. Anyone that is not opposed to it can attend as well. But you can see this food truck, an ordinance for the mayor and board of aldermen of the town of Livingston, amended the municipal zoning ordinance to permit food trucks in the C2 Central Business District is where it would be. It would only be for the first Friday and Saturday of each month. So it wouldn't be permitted all the time. Just the first Friday and Saturday of each month, folks can come up. I'll be, Tommy, did you get an opportunity to make copies for everyone?
I believe they do have that, or Phyllis has got it.
Okay, yeah. So in front of you there, this is short notice, and I had it added to the agenda. Our attorney had to go out of town, or he would be here, but that's what we're doing. To try to authorize food trucks 2 days a month, Friday and Saturday, at each month in the C2 Central Business District.
And so essentially, Mayor, this would allow food trucks to exist down at Central Park.
Yeah.
Park down there.
That's right.
And so it's not in any other zoning districts, it's only in the Central Business District.
That's right.
So in my opinion, this would not take away from our local restaurants that are in the C1 and the C3 district because they wouldn't be allowed there anyway.
That's right. Right. And I you know, Christian, on the C2s, I want to confirm exactly what Tommy said. So on the C2 districts you want to talk about, or are you familiar with the C2 district? I put you on the spot, sorry.
No, C2 is our downtown only. So C2 runs basically down all the way to Railroad Street. It takes in right up to the funeral home up here, and it comes down and on McHenry Street and runs all the way to Miller. So I'm not sure, you know, that is our C2 district. You know, I don't know, I guess there's gonna be rental, I mean, we're gonna charge rent.
Yeah, I think there's some more work to be done, but this starts the first step. Starts the first step, and like I said, this is ordinance, and every ordinance comes with a public hearing and a second reading. So this just kind of gets the ball rolling to see what the rest of the council would like to do, and if general public like to speak on it, they can do that too.
I have also heard from some restaurant owners that are welcoming food trucks and think it would help their business as well.
I've been watching Food Network on.
That's right. They may come to your town for that, mightn't they? So anyway, I'm just asking for approval of this tonight, and then we'll move it on to the Board of Aldermen.
Is the reason for limiting it to 2 days a month, just so we don't infringe on
That is my thought. We don't want to hurt any local business here that certainly pays property taxes and taxes on their goods. Don't want to penalize them, but it has been a request for quite some time, and so we've just thought about it. And again, you're just limited to the first Friday and Saturday of the month, and I just don't think that would hurt anyone. That's my opinion.
And Mayor, if we pass this and we try it out and it doesn't work, we can repeal it, and also we could increase it if we
Yeah,
want to.
and I think once it gets past the first reading, I'll sit down with Christian and Andre, and Tommy, you perhaps, if you want to be a part of it, and we'll come up with some rules. I mean, it would be a fee to set up a truck in the city. The city would be getting some money out of it, so it wouldn't be just scotch-free. You can just kind of come and sell at no cost to the vendor.
Christian, did I understand you right, that you had talked to several of them down there, and they're all willing that this will be suitable with them? Is that correct?
Yes, I've spoken to a couple.
If y'all think this is a good idea, then the next step would be to recommend it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
I'm going to open this floor for discussion with you all, okay?
Well, I think we can, Robert, if that's an issue. I don't see them being lined up, 100 of them, but that, maybe the first 5 or 10 that registers, there will be a process, and that process has not written out yet, but, I mean, we can certainly limit them. That's right. And I think process of elimination would kind of limit to how many would actually come, if any would come. Now, we have had a couple of requests. I know over at Livingston Academy, they wanted to have a food truck over there for a prom or graduation or something, but our rules just don't allow it. I know there was a really. I know there was every now and then there's food trucks that do come in, that sneak in, that we don't know about until 4:30. So this would go along with, it would help some schools, and if anybody's business wanted to have a food truck, this would kind of allow that too, so. I think it's a win-win. Again, every ordinance, again, has a public hearing. So if the general public comes in and there's just an outcry that they don't want it, then I think we'll step back and look at it at that time. But I think this at least starts the conversation to having a food truck in Livingston on the first Friday and Saturday only of every month.
Those people usually bring in something that's unusual or different from what you'll have available to you in the other restaurants around here, because they want.
One of the things, Bruce, not to interrupt you, but I know we had one time that was selling seafood.
Yeah. So the one we had sneaking in, he was pulling up on the side of Tractor Supply. And so when I found them, there was a line. I mean, I was having to tell people to leave. Lobster rolls. And people said it was awesome. So what you're going to get is some real good specialty stuff. You'll see Greek food, you'll see Mexican food, you'll see seafood. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be, carnival guys with hot dog vans. And, I think you're going to see some good stuff. And I think actually it probably will wind up opening up longer than 2 days a month.
Yeah, I think it will too, but this is a start.
Yeah, and let me just also add on to that. So the reason why we need to do this is because in our ordinance, it says that any use not specifically permitted is prohibited. And, new uses pop up all the time, like short-term rentals, things like that we didn't address back in 1986 when we wrote this ordinance.
Right.
And so when new uses come along, we have to address that by adding them to be able to exist in the zoning ordinance, because without the language specifically allowing them, they are prohibited no matter how beneficial they might be. So that's why we need, for the process, this is why we need to do it. If you feel like it's, something's good for the town.
I move we adopt this ordinance.
Okay.
I second it.
Second, Jamie. All in favor, saying aye. Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members.
Mayor, did you want to address the sign ordinance as well, or would you rather, or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, I think you can. I think our attorney, Andre, brought it to our attention that we needed to look at our sign ordinances. Some of them was just maybe outdated a little bit, as all ordinances are. Tommy, you referenced to some of the zoning ordinances that's been on the books since 1986. So this was an area that he had been looking at. I think there's more to come as he goes through the ordinance book, but this was the first one to come up. So, and it really, really what it does, it brings us up to TCA codes by law, that our ordinance and our laws coincide with each other, and they're not outdated and unenforceable, okay? That's what it's all about. Tommy, you can explain a little bit more, but that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Mayor. So there's actually a Supreme Court case that says you cannot regulate signs by content. And so if you look in our ordinance, we have things in there now that talk real estate signs, political signs, directional signs, and the Supreme Court says you're not allowed to do that. You can, however, regulate signs by size, by location, and by height. And I read this ordinance today, and while I do have some questions about a couple of things, for the most part, it looks pretty good, and I feel like that it would help. And so my question to you, Mayor, is this something that you need us to move on tonight, or do you think there's...
No, I think that Yes, sir. I think that it needs to be moved tonight to get it passed on to the Board of Aldermen. And again, every ordinance that we have always comes with a second reading, always comes with a public hearing. So it's not like someone's trying to ease one through, because again, you have two readings, first reading to the board, public hearing, and second reading. So, but yeah, this again gets it started in the right direction. It's first step.
Yes, sir. So, go ahead.
Is there any information on this? I don't see anything about this.
You don't have a, okay. Well,
This is another late edition?
yeah, yes, it is.
So in the beginning there, what they're doing, or what the proposal is cleaning up our definitions. And I believe that's probably the first 3 pages.
Yeah, and let me say this, again, Andre's had a lot on his plate, our attorney. We've been dealing with a lot of stuff. He did get this to us today. If we need more time, if you need to read it, then it's not going to be an issue to have more time. I do think, however, it is quite simple. I understand you're just now getting something in front of you. I get it. You can put it off the next month, read it, have questions. We can do that. It's not a big deal, but it is really just a simple clean up the definition and go by the laws, but I get it.
So which ones have changed? I mean, what are the changes?
Everything that's in this ordinance right here has had some sort of alteration, whether it be...
And by the Supreme Court. It's something that we had to do. The laws, some of the laws that we had on the book was just unenforceable.
I like to see what they were.
Yeah, we do actually have a copy of that too,
I'm sure I've seen it before, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to...
Tommy, it sounds like you just need to put it on the agenda next month. I'll have Andre here, and he can go through it thoroughly.
Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
what we can also do is we can have Phyllis send out that copy that has all of the...
Right.
What we have is we've got an ordinance or a proposal where the new is in red and the old
Right.
is in black text.
That's right.
So you can actually see what is being stricken and what is being added.
Absolutely.
If it becomes an issue as far as timing, we can send the things out. Can we vote and get a vote back to Phyllis at that point, just so we're not holding anything up? I just think it's irresponsible not to know all the details before we.
Yeah,
Yay or nay?
I think if you vote on it tonight, JJ, and we take it to the planning commission, if there is a hiccup with anything you read and you want to hold it off, I'll just pull it off the agenda. I mean, there's nothing here that that I don't want you to feel comfortable with. I know it was, you didn't get it obviously till now. I didn't, just for the record, I didn't get it till about 3 hours ago. But anyway, and our attorney couldn't be here tonight, he's on vacation, so. But yeah, if it passes tonight and either of you all call and say, I'm just not comfortable with this, then I'll just pull it off the agenda and we'll come back to the planning commission. That's my word.
I just remember on elections, signs and stuff, back, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, they had to be moved back, and we had all kinds of problem with that. Is all that addressed?
Yeah, all of it is addressed, and a lot of that has changed, Philip. That's another reason that we've had to do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you how to, I'm not gonna
Well,
tell you how to vote, but here's what I think. I've read this. I know the sign law fairly well, not as good as Andre, but I feel like I know it pretty well. I don't have an issue passing this, especially with the mayor's caveat that if you read it, they can pull it. I did have one question that I talked to you about that I would like to get answered just before, it gets to second reading. I mean, I wouldn't even care if it passed first reading, but I feel like, if the mayor says we have problems, he'll pull it off the agenda. I feel like that's what'll happen, but that's up to you. It's not my vote. That's just how I feel about it.
It's your understanding, Andre, or whoever's going to provide us additional details, kind of what we have and how things are changing?
Oh, yeah. And we've probably, I've already got it. I don't, I don't have it with me, but usually he sends something. Christian, did he send it to us like that?
Well, what we have is like Tommy said, it's highlighted in red, and so what changes, we will get you a descriptive memo of all of the markups and how it was and how it's going to be.
In fact, Phyllis, you getting it now? Yeah, Phyllis is getting it right now. Or do you already have it?
I have one copy.
Oh, okay.
Phyllis is going to bring some more up.
And I really do think, and we'll make sure that you get more, that there's more coming that has to be updated and all that. So we'll just make sure we get it to you in ample time so you can read it. But some of this, I mean, guys, you don't have a choice. I mean, we can't supersede state law. And if our ordinance on the books is outdated, you can't enforce it. I mean, yeah, you know why that's like that?
It appears to be, like I said, I think there's one section that I did have a question for Andre on, but other than that, I'm good. So, my issue is that in one place, it says that signs can be put in the right-of-way as long as they are 10 feet from an intersection, and then in another section under general provisions, it says signs shall not be allowed in the right-of-way. So to me, that's a contradiction, and I would just need some clarification as to, you know, and I did send Andre an email, I didn't get a response back.
We'll probably hear something next week if he's on vacation, I imagine.
I think you'll hear something tomorrow, I call it.
Yeah. But other than that, I had no issue with it.
Did you see me?
You just go ahead and move on.
No, but I can.
I make a motion that we accept it with the understanding we'll get additional information so that we can reconsider our vote as new information becomes available.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's how it works. If you vote on this tonight, it will go to the Board of Aldermen on July 8th, okay? Now, JJ, if you all would like to have a special call meeting on this, because what I'm telling you, if you want the clarification before it goes to the board meeting, then you could do that. So, for instance, on July 8th, there could be a planning commission at 5, and then the Board of Aldermen come at 6.
Motion by JJ, go ahead, accept this, I need a second on it. Bruce?
Make sure it's okay, all right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so, if you would see if there's any other discussion before we vote.
I don't have any.
Any more discussion? Nothing? Good to go? Okay.
If you read that ordinance, instead of having a called meeting, if you don't want to, you certainly can if you want to. But if you read that ordinance, I think everyone has Tommy's email. Just email Tommy, and me and Tommy and Andre will sit down and have a discussion and get you an answer back, the correct answer back, okay? I mean, that's... And again, if you have questions, make sure you ask the questions before July 8th. Because if I don't hear any questions on July 8th, it will be on the agenda and done, and I don't want to lead you astray. I just, again, I don't want to lead you all astray. Can you explain me a little bit what additional clarification is, so I'm clear on it?
We're going to answer all these questions that comes up after we review this.
Okay.
You can change the agenda because you did today twice.
Yeah. Well, I can pull it from the agenda. That ain't no problem. That's simple. But I just want to make sure that when you have the questions, you don't want to direct them to Tommy, and then we will answer it via email. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's all I need to know. No further questions, Your Honor.
Anybody here for that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and read it though, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Okay. Consideration of preliminary plat for property located on High Tech Drive, Apple Drive, Peace Drive, Campbell Division. Is anyone here for that, Tommy?
No one is here, Mr. Chairman. I'll read it, and then I'll give you my recommendation, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So we had Cody Campbell submit a preliminary subdivision plat for for the purpose of subdividing 2.89 acres into 6 proposed new lots for property located on High Tech Drive, Apple Drive, and Peach Drive. This is right across the street from TCAT Livingston. The proposed new lots would range in size from .46 to .51 acres, and all the proposed new lots are currently vacant. The proposed new lots are zoned R1 low-density residential and is served by an existing 12-inch water line and the existing 10-inch sewer line, existing fire hydrant, and would comply with all other requirements of the subdivision regulations and the zoning ordinance. Christian and I have discussed this. He has took it to the department heads. There is one issue that has not been resolved, and since there is no one here to represent the plat, I do not recommend that we table it. I recommend that we deny it due to lack of representation until we can get these issues solved, because if we table it and for some reason we don't have a quorum or something next month, then it's automatically approved by state law. So I would recommend we deny it due to lack of representation. Hopefully we can get the issues figured out and they can present it again when we know everything we need to know about it.
And do y'all want to, I actually got two. Your codes officer, as I have been made aware that on High Tech, under these 4 lots right here, there was a junkyard here, and I believe the city used to bush hog this property. I've been told by more than one person that when they were bush hogging it, they could see the back end of cars stacked on this property. Although junkyards and landfills are a wonderful place to build, I'm not sure structurally how deep these are. I'm not even sure that there's going to have to be some investigation done. I would ask for some spot digging to see what's going on in there. And so on the other lots that are on Apple, that are cornering on Peach right here, as your street guy, I mean, we have nowhere for this water to go. There's going to have to be some detail on not adding more water to their neighbors behind them here, because that place floods right here. So if they're planning on building these 2 lots up with dirt right here, then I think there's going to be a real issue. So I would like to get this addressed with the property owner. I was expecting to see him tonight. Like I said, I think it's a good idea to deny it as well at this time.
Christian, I drove by there. I drove by and looked at it. Looks like he's doing fixing 2 pads up there. Is that correct? And
So they started bringing in some dirt on that property.
okay, but the back side of that, Christian, there's going to be a problem with water, isn't it?
It always has been.
Always has.
Yeah.
been.
So,
Okay.
I mean, we have that watershed, coming all the way from Water Street, all the way down the mountain there, from, up above Peach. All that watershed comes down in there. That place stays flooded all the time. That water will sit there for a long time. I'm not sure what their plans are. They haven't came to me and spoke to me about what they're planning on doing. I know they did have it surveyed, and which is well within their rights to do that. But I mean, there could be some serious issues. I just feel that if there's a bunch of junk cars down here, that structurally, we need to know, how much dirt's on top of it, has it been rolled and packed? And I mean, I know it's been there a long time, but I do know that our guy said, that's bush hogged that, said that you could see the back end of several vehicles stacked on top of each other in that area. I'm not sure that Mr. Campbell knew that when he bought it, but,
Do you reckon, I think we should just table this tonight on this one. That's
Don't
my,
table it, don't table it.
Because if we don't have a quorum, it will automatically get accepted.
Let's just
Okay.
refuse it.
okay.
And you can just say due to lack of representation.
Okay. Before we close tonight, we're going to open up the floor to anyone here that needs to address this planning commission. You can come to the podium here, and you got 5 minutes. All right, I don't see no hopping up there. Huh? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'm making it.
Got one from Robert, second, JJ, Bruce, me, all four, stand up then.
I'm out of here.